Hi guys, so today I wanted to talk about something a little sad, and I've talked about it before. I made a video maybe 2 years ago talking about this, so I wanted to make a new one. This is Jameson. Say hi everyone. You probably have makeup all over your tail now. But we had to, I wanted to make a video. You're distracting, but you're cute. Wanted to make a video talking about when I attempted suicide, and actually the reason why I wanted to revisit this subject is because December 7th, 2018, so the day that I'm uploading this video, I'm filming it a few days prior, and I will explain that in a minute, because obviously my videos aren't edited, they don't take a long time to film, but on that day I have something going on, so I wanted to talk about that. But let's count how many times I say in a matter of 2 minutes. I wanted to talk about my feelings now about it and how it still affects my day-to-day life 5 years later. So if you haven't watched the original video that I filmed about 2 years ago, that's a good video to watch if you're gonna watch this video. But if you don't want to watch that whole video, I will give you a brief background on this. So December 7th, 2013, I tried to commit suicide. I took a bunch of pills and ended up calling 911 on myself, is pretty much the basis of what happened, just for a little background. Anyway, now it is 5 years later, and my life is very different than it was in 2013, and that is one thing that I never imagined. I can't imagine, well, I couldn't imagine back then my life being where it is now, and that was part of the problem. I felt very stuck and very into my depression, and I couldn't get past it. I felt like I couldn't do anything to get to where I am now, and so I thought that my only option really was to end my life, because I didn't think that my life was going anywhere, and that is a big problem. I felt like a burden to my family, I felt like a burden to my friends, I felt like my life just didn't matter, and that if I wasn't here, that nothing would change, that, you know, people would be better off, and that is not the case. And I'm not saying that I don't still struggle with those thoughts. I have depression, I have actually what is called dysthymia, which is a general low mood all of the time, and on top of that I have chronic depression, so my lows are very, very low. And so I'm not saying that, oh, you know, I woke up in the hospital and all of a sudden everything is fixed in my life, and that's not the case. And if you guys do watch my videos, and this isn't the first video of mine you're watching, you know, I still do struggle with suicidal thoughts, and I struggle with an eating disorder and everything that comes along with that as well. So it's hard But if I could say anything to myself 5 years ago, is that you did the right thing, and your life does matter, and you can make a difference, and you will get past where you feel you're stuck. Shortly after that, when I tried to kill myself, I ended up getting a job, which was part of the problem, is that I couldn't hold down a steady income. I was working cleaning houses. I went from job to job to job because my anxiety was so bad that I worked at a library and I couldn't even put books back on the shelf without having a panic attack. And I thought like I was never going to be able to work and that I was never going to accomplish anything because I wasn't able to work. And that's simply not the case. I just needed to learn how to manage my anxiety, and no one had ever really tried to help me do that. I was in therapy. I've been in therapy most of my life, and they were just kind of coddling me and saying like, oh, well, if you feel like you can't do that, then you can't do that, and that's okay. And I didn't need that. Like, what I needed was someone to help me learn coping skills so that I could make it through the day. So I tried to commit suicide. I bailed on it. If you want to know why, go watch the other video. I'm not gonna make this video 20 million hours long, but was in the hospital for quite a while after that. And when I got out of the hospital, it kind of just, life went back to the same old thing. Like, I was in school. I was doing better in school than I had been previously, but still, like, I was terrified to look for another job, and I really needed a job. My parents aren't wealthy, and they couldn't really support me. Like, I had to support myself, and I had to be able to pay for my gas to get back and forth to school. I had to be able to pay for anything I wanted to do outside of that. So I needed to work, and so a few months later, got a job at the movie theater, and I mean, whatever. I'm just gonna say I got a job with AMC Theaters, and I was terrified. My mom pretty much told me that like I had to get a job by the end of February, and I was terrified. I was like, I can't do that. I can't work. I can't. So I was like, whatever, I'll put in job applications to places I've applied to before and they haven't called me, because I was so afraid and so anxious about working. So I put in a job at AMC, and they called me, and I was like, okay, whatever, I'll go to the interview. I'm not going to get the job. So I did the interview, and February 28th ended up, they called me and I got the job. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, whatever, I'll work there for like 2 weeks and I won't be able to handle it, and then I'll just quit, and then my mom will understand that like I just can't do this. But that's actually not what happened, and that job actually probably saved my life at that point, because I really thought that I couldn't do that. And I know how stupid it sounds to be like, oh, my stupid little job at the movie theater saved my life. But the reality of it is that without that job, I would not be where I am now. And it's crazy to think about that. But I did get that job. And it was hard. Working at a movie theater, it gets very busy. And it's very anxiety provoking. And my managers were amazing. They worked with me on it. They were very understanding. Like, if I was in a position where I was selling and interacting with customers, because mostly at first I cleaned theaters, but if I was in a situation, sorry, my eyes are like tearing, where I was selling and it got too much for me, they let me walk away. They were so understanding and so willing to work with me. And that's amazing because you don't get that in most places. I had never had that before, and I had like 10 jobs prior to working there. And for me, like, that helped me learn how to manage my anxiety. Like, I learned, okay, if it gets to this point, that's like when I need to walk away, or that's when like I need to take a deep breath and just focus on the next thing. And I learned so many coping skills working there, and I could not say enough good things about that company, and I'm very thankful to them for employing me and kind of showing me that like I can work and I can do things. And I worked there for 4 years almost. While I was working there, most of the time I worked there, I worked 2 jobs, which like to me was like unreal. Like, I didn't even think I could work 1 job, and here I am working 2. And in January of 2017, so almost 2 years ago, I got a job at the hospital that I work at now. And that has created so many great opportunities for me. And like, I know now that like what I want to do with my life is to help people. And this job allows me to do that, and it allows me to like further myself in that direction. This company really believes in their employees, and it's very similar to that feeling that like I had at AMC. And like, currently I'm trying to get a job as a nursing assistant. Right now I'm a housekeeper, but getting that job allowed me to live the life that I live now. Like, I live on my own with one of my friends that I actually met through working at AMC. And my like entire outlook really is different. And even though I do still struggle with those thoughts, I know that at the end of the day they're just a thought now. It's not a overwhelming like plan to do this and rid myself of this life, because life isn't bad. It feels that way sometimes, but overall it's not bad anymore. Like, I'm fairly successful. I'm doing things that like I never thought I was going to be able to do, and it's great. Like, I love everything about my life, even though it doesn't always feel that way to me, if that makes any sense at all. So getting this job at the hospital that I work at now allowed me to, and I stayed at AMC for quite a while after getting this job, because I didn't want to leave there, because they had done so much for me, and I loved it there. And so I worked there a little longer than I probably should have, and I completely stressed myself out because working at a hospital is very stressful, and I put way too much on my plate working there and working at AMC, and in the end, like, it wasn't fair to them, to AMC, the theater that I worked at. It wasn't fair to them anymore for me to stay there because I was not giving 100% anymore, and I couldn't give 100% anymore, and I was not the person that I wanted to be while I was there. And so I did end up leaving the company last July of 2017. So I did work there for another like 6 months after getting the job at the hospital. But eventually it was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. This isn't fair to anyone. Let's open up a spot for someone else that hopefully can get as much from this job as I did. And so I did leave there. So fast forward to almost a year from then, over a year from then, I went back to school, and I am working on becoming a patient care technician, and life is good. Life is really, really good. And I know, like, it probably doesn't sound like that because I'm like crying, but it really is. So much. I couldn't have even imagined my life being like this back in 2013 when I tried to end my life. And I think that the biggest thing is that, like, I almost, like, took away my opportunity to touch a lot of people's lives. Like, I know, like, when I talk to the patients and stuff, like, I've had patients that, like, ask for me, because I float, so, like, I don't work in the same section every day. And I've had, like, the people that, whose sections I've covered be like, patients are asking about you, and that just feels so good. And I can't wait to move further into the company that I work in now and be able to touch people touch people's hearts in a different way. That was almost really inappropriate. But now, December 7th, 2018, I'm gonna be the maid of honor in one of my friend's weddings, and that's just another thing that, like, I couldn't have imagined, you know. Like, people say they care about you, but when you are so far into your depression and just, like, the suicidal thoughts and stuff, you just feel worthless and you feel like a burden to everyone. And I couldn't have ever imagined someone, like, wanting me to stand beside them for their, like, one of the biggest days in their lives. And I'm so grateful that I'm here to be able to do that. And it's crazy how much life changes. And so the point being, like, now you guys know a lot of my life story, but the point being is that life changes from minute to minute and year to year and month to month and day to day, and you're not stuck. You're not a tree. If you don't like where you are, you can get up and move. Life is a beautiful thing, and it's very sad to me that the people that just could not overcome their illness, because that happens, and it's not their fault. And it's just like, you want everyone to feel this, like how I feel now versus how I felt then, and how much, like, I value my life and my time here. And even though I still feel that way, it's not ever that. It's not that same feeling that I felt that day, because I can see the other things that make life worthwhile now. And everyone doesn't always have the same experience with surviving suicide. I'm just very thankful that I've been here to experience how great life can be. And I think that if anyone ever needs anyone to talk to, you can always comment on my videos, message me. I think there's direct messenger on here. If not, my Instagram is KateChristine04, and you can direct message me on there, or you can email my email, which is KateChristine04@gmail.com, and I will always respond. It might not always be timely. I would hope that it would be, but I do work a lot, and I can't always be on my phone at work, so I will always message you back, though. I'm not gonna ignore you, and I just want everyone to have the chance to live out their lives and see how beautiful and different it can be. You know, I never, ever pictured my life the way it is now. And I'm so thankful to the people that helped me get here, that helped me get myself unstuck. And I will be forever grateful for AMC Theaters and the company that I work for now, because they are both great companies. And the company that I work for is really only in my state, and the Christmas tree is falling, cats. But the companies, these two companies are great. The company that I work for now is really only in my state, but I would say for anyone that is struggling, you know, I would completely recommend trying to get a job at your local AMC theater if you have one near you, because as a company they are really, really great, and I really did enjoy my time working for them. But and like, this isn't, I don't have subscribers, so like obviously like I'm not being paid to say this. Like, I just spent a lot of time working there, and I really, really, really believe that it's a great company to work for. So like I said, if any of you ever need anything, you feel free to email me, comment below. I will always get back to you, and I hope you guys are having a great day. And if you're not, tomorrow can always be better. So I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.